March 10, 2026. While the White House was telling the world that Iranian missile capability had been degraded by 90%, Iran fired the heaviest sustained barrage of this entire war. 3 continuous hours. Hypersonic ballistics carrying over a ton of explosives each. Cluster munitions breaking through Israel's defense network. This was Wave 37 of Operation True Promise 4. It landed 4 days after Caroline Leavitt said Iranian strikes were down 90%. That gap between official narrative and operational reality is not a reporting error. It is the war itself. Here is what we know. Last night, Iran deployed every tier of its arsenal simultaneously. The Khurramshahr carries 1,500 to 1,800 kilograms of explosives. Hypergolic liquid fuel means it can sit loaded, ready to fire within 12 to 15 minutes. That shrinks the preemptive strike window to almost nothing. The Fatah-1 uses a maneuverable re-entry vehicle that shifts course during terminal descent. The Fatah-2 carries a hypersonic glide vehicle, adjusting trajectory during mid-course flight. Both designed to arrive faster and less predictably than anything Israel's defense systems were built to track. Earlier that day, waves 35 and 36 mixed in the Khaybar Sheikhan, Qadr, and Imad. 5 different missile systems in overlapping waves across 12 hours, each calibrated to stress a different defense layer. The IRGC stated Wave 37 struck the Hatzor Satellite Communication Center south of Tel Aviv for the second time, military positions near Tel Aviv, targets in West Jerusalem and Haifa, American positions in Erbil, and the 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain. Iran claimed strikes on the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier and an American destroyer. Those claims remain unverified. What is verified is what the IDF confirmed. On March 10th, the Israeli Defense Forces disclosed something critical. Approximately 50% of all ballistic missiles launched by Iran since February 28th carried cluster bomb warheads, not conventional warheads, cluster munitions releasing dozens of smaller submunitions, each packed with kilograms of explosives, scattering across up to 10 kilometers. The IDF stated Iran has been firing cluster-armed missiles almost daily since the war started. The Foundation for Defense of Democracies confirmed this March 11th, noting that with launcher fleets degraded, the shift to cluster warheads is deliberate adaptation to extract maximum damage from each missile that gets through. Most assume interception neutralizes the threat. Cluster munitions break that logic. Israel's Arrow, David's Sling, Iron Dome are engineered to track and destroy a single re-entry vehicle. A cluster warhead is designed to fragment. If the interceptor reaches the missile before dispersal, the threat is contained. But if the warhead separates at altitude, submunitions scatter across kilometers before any interceptor can engage individually. One missile becomes dozens of projectiles. And even when intercepted, the force can rupture the casing and spread bomblets outward. Defense systems operate on binary math, hit or miss. Cluster ordnance operates on distribution. One warhead, 20 to 24 bomblets, 5-kilometer dispersal radius. Evidence on the ground confirms this. In Yehud, outside Tel Aviv, 2 construction workers were killed, a third critically wounded by submunitions from a single cluster-armed missile. They never reached shelter. First responders near Beit Shemesh described multiple overlapping blast scenes meters apart, treating casualties simultaneously across a scattered impact zone. Over 100 countries banned these weapons due to indiscriminate nature and unexploded ordnance. Iran is not a signatory, neither is Israel, neither is the United States. The interception problem is one dimension. The second is what Iran has been doing to the systems that make interception possible. On March 11th, the New York Times published analysis based on satellite imagery, video footage, and official statements identifying at least 17 American military facilities damaged by Iranian strikes across the Gulf. 11 are U.S. military installations. Sites include Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, Ali Al Salam Air Base and Camp Arif Jan in Kuwait, and 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain. Several struck more than once. Satellite images show damage to radomes, satellite dishes, and structures adjacent to THAAD TPY-2 radar systems coordinating ballistic missile interception across the entire region. Near Al Dhafra in UAE, imagery captured structural damage immediately adjacent to where an AN-TPY-2 system was positioned. Senior U.S. defense officials told The Times that Iran adapted targeting strategy to focus specifically on American vulnerabilities, the interceptors and air defense systems protecting U.S. forces. The Times reported Iran's ability to damage these facilities defied expectations in the Trump administration. Defied expectations means planning assumptions were wrong. Pre-war intelligence underestimated what Iran could reach and damage. The Pentagon admitted it does not have a complete picture of all Iranian launchers still operational. 5th Fleet headquarters damage alone estimated at roughly $200 million. At Ali Salam, at least 6 structures tied to satellite communications were destroyed or damaged. Connect the sequence. Iran neutralized early warning radars in previous waves, struck Hatzor satellite communications relay twice, hit THAAD tracking radars and communications across the Gulf. The pattern is systematic. Radars first, communications second. Then heavy warheads arrive into a detection environment that can no longer see them coming or coordinate response. Khurramshahr reaches Mach 16 outside atmosphere, Mach 8 during re-entry. If the tracking radar feeding your interceptor battery is offline, speed becomes academic. You are not shooting at what you cannot acquire. The Israeli counterstrikes are equally intense. On March 10th, Israeli Air Force struck regime headquarters in Tehran where soldiers and security personnel were gathered. Targets included Special Forces Headquarters, IRGC Compound, Ballistic Missile Launch Coordination Center. Dozens of jets delivered over 170 munitions across Tehran, Isfahan, and Shiraz. IDF confirmed targeting nuclear laboratories in Tehran, some struck previously during June 2025 12-day war. In a single engagement, IDF surveillance detected a missile crew in western Iran, preparing to launch. A drone destroyed the armed launcher minutes before it could fire. Simultaneously, the United States destroyed 16 Iranian mine-laying vessels near Strait of Hormuz, preemptive operation triggered by intelligence indicating Iran intended to deploy naval mines. About 20% of global oil transits that choke point. Hezbollah entered the war March 1st, launching attacks from Lebanon, opening an additional front. Israel responded with extensive strikes on Hezbollah infrastructure in Lebanon, including Beirut's Dahieh district and Hezbollah-linked financial assets. The cumulative toll on the Israeli side as of March 10th from Alma Research and Education Center, 14 civilians killed, 2,339 injured. In one 24-hour period, 2 killed in Tel Aviv area, approximately 200 wounded. More than 3,000 residents displaced by direct hits and falling interception debris. The deadliest single event remains March 1st strike on Beit Shemesh, where an Iranian missile penetrated a communal bomb shelter beneath a synagogue, killing 9 people including 3 teenage siblings. 2 interceptors had been fired, both failed to destroy it. The shelter roof collapsed. Now recall the official narrative 4 days before Wave 37. Caroline Leavitt. Strikes down 90%. Trump March 10th. Over 5,000 targets destroyed, 80 to 90% of launchers eliminated. Israeli broadcaster Channel 11 reported daily missile count falling from 90 on day 1 to 65 on day 2 to 25 on day 3 to 20 on day 4. By day 6, the White House presented decline as proof the campaign was working. Most look at falling launch rate and see a weakening enemy. The data reveals something else. While volume dropped, the missiles themselves got bigger and more capable with each wave. Iran was not running out, it was sequencing. Volume first to saturate defenses and expose detection gaps. Heavy warheads later into degraded detection environment. Wave 37 is the endpoint of that sequence. 3 hours, heavy payloads, Fatah, hypersonics, cluster munitions across central Israel. Multiple theaters hit simultaneously. The IDF assessed at the start of this war that Iran possessed approximately 2,500 ballistic missiles and was accelerating production at dozens per month. Before 2026, Iran had been working to expand its stockpile from roughly 3,000 toward a target of 8,000 within 2 years. During the 12-day war in June 2025, Israel destroyed hundreds of missiles and strikes and disrupted production of 1,500 more by targeting manufacturing sites. Iran rebuilt. The morning after Wave 37, IDF Homefront Command Chief Major General Rafi Milo addressed the country from northern Israel. His words, "More difficult days are expected. Schools remain closed and gathering restrictions stayed in place pending further assessment. That is not the posture of a military that believes its adversary is spent. Both governments claim escalation dominance. And the most devastating barrage of this entire war landed 4 days after the White House told the world the threat was 90% gone. The gap between those two realities is not a reporting error, it is the war itself. And neither side has a theory for ending it that matches the situation actually unfolding on the ground.